All right, hello and welcome. My name is Jessica Riverson, and I have Reverend Laura D. Bean here with me. Say hi, Laura.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so I'm really excited today. I wanted to spotlight Laura because she has been doing some amazing things in her coaching business, and I wanted to talk to her about her journey and share more about what she's doing with clients. And she's also going to share with us 3 keys to manifesting using your sacred feminine. So I'm really excited to get those tips myself. I'm a big believer in manifesting, so I definitely want to get those tips. And I've had Laura come on and do a call with my community before that got rave reviews, so she's always welcome. I want to tell you guys a little bit about Laura, and then I'll talk about how we got to know each other, and then we'll get to the 3 keys.
Okay.
So if you're just getting on here, would you please tell us what city you're coming in from, where do you live, and what's your specialty? Thanks, Kylie. That actually reminds me, if you could tweet, there's a little button that says tell a little bird. I know this is going to be a very popular topic, so if you would tweet this out. Thanks, Sherry. Sherry Valentine just tweeted that out for us as well. I'm going to follow you, Sherry. So if you guys would tweet it out, that will share this message with everyone who needs to hear it today. So I am going to just say your very short bio, Laura, because you have a lot of credentials. And so I'm just going to highlight, what's standing out for me.
Okay.
But Laura is the creator of the Feminine Manifesting Method. She's a spiritual advisor, and she's passionate about supporting busy women who want to manifest their big, bold, balanced dream life. They're struggling with overwhelm. They're overworking. They're not nurturing themselves. They're not feeling connected. They might be really in their masculine because they're in corporate. And she wants to teach us women, right, to speak that secret language of the universe so that we can merge our spirit self with our work and we can speak our authentic truth. And that's what she's all about. And if you want to read her formal bio and see all of her credentials that make her more than qualified as an expert coach, you can go to lauradbean.com and learn more about her. So I want to tell you how Laura and I got connected. We found each other on Facebook, I believe, right? And Laura ended up becoming a student in my Instant Pay Raise program. And we're just going to take just a short, little tiny bit of time to talk about that, and we'll go right into the 3 keys. So we got connected, and she got into that program wanting to take her body of knowledge and expertise and put it into a high-end program that her clients would be excited about stepping into. So would you just take a minute and tell us how the course helped you, what's changed, and then we'll dive into your 3 keys.
Yeah, well, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, Jessica, in the program was actually putting a method, steps, that signature system. I knew what I wanted to do and how I wanted to deliver it, but I didn't know the right, nice, condensed package of words to use and to say, look, this is my signature system, and within my system, these are the components that you learn. So that was really big for me because it also put a framework to any of the workshops or single talks that I give, that it would fit under one of the pillars or maybe more than one of the pillars. So it just made it a really comprehensive and cohesive package that was understandable not only to me, but that I could communicate it to people very, very clearly and easily.
Great. And I think that's the hardest thing when you do something that there's tangible results that your clients get, but then it's emotional and spiritual work. And I think it's hard to convey that value sometimes. So I got to work with her privately as well, and it's been amazing. So tell us the name of your signature program now.
Well, the name of the program is Awaken Your Sacred Feminine Power. And the awaken part is so meaningful because it could be anywhere from sleeping and dormant to just becoming even more fully present in your life. And that also, to me, is that connection. My business name is Living in Spirit, and it's very purposeful because it's about how to be yourself in the world, whether you're corporate, entrepreneurial, or otherwise, and to merge all of that and to still not to not feel compartmentalized and fragmented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So Sherry Valentine is saying, lovely website. We did a little bit of work on your website too, and it is gorgeous. It's looking really good. So you've had some women come, like more women coming into the program. What has that been like for them? And, tell us more about that.
About their experience, or is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, now that you have your signature program and you've kind of revamped it, and I know you've been doing this work a long time, but what has that been like to kind of move them into that program?
You know what? It's been really awesome because what I see is the momentum that women get and the follow through. So what I'm teaching in my program are real life tools. So it's not just a bunch of information. It's always action oriented and how to apply these methods in everyday situations, in everyday life. And they're tools that then that a person can take and apply to everything else, and whether it's your work, your personal, your romantic life, your relationships with your children. It's just really good life tools, and it's just a way to live and to be and to feel that balance in your life and that clarity that comes.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, okay, let's dive into the 3 keys. Someone's already asking me. So, awesome. Thank you. So who is that? That is Chantel. Awesome. Thanks for being here. So we've got more people coming on. We're going to go ahead and have Laura officially give us the 3 keys to manifesting with your sacred feminine. Before we do that, tell us, if everyone that's on live, tell us what city you're from. Click the tweet, tell a little bird button as well. Let's share this with everyone. And we've got Hampton. Is that New Hampshire, Gold Coast, Australia, Delray Beach, Florida, Brisbane, Australia? Awesome. Cool. Algeria. Awesome.
Great.
You're international, Laura. This is so cool. Okay, let's start out with key number 1.
Key number 1 is recognizing that you really are a powerful co-creator of your whole life experience.
Yeah, that's big, right? Because if we don't see that we are part of what we're creating, then we feel a victim.
Yes. So there are some mindsets to that first key. Some of the mindsets are that a person really has to claim that inner power. They have to stop blaming other people. Mm-hmm. And you really, because when you blame other people, or when you say you made me do this, you're giving away your power. You're becoming not only a victim, but you're being swayed like a pendulum depending on the external forces, so that all these external forces are guiding you rather than giving you feedback and you creating from a place of power. So
whenever we feel like something or someone is doing something to us, it's a way that we give away our power. And I think it's like a really sneaky way, you know, because it's easy to think that we're not part of it. Like they did this or this thing happened to me. And so I feel like it's kind of, it can be easy for that one to slip past us and then go, oh, wait a minute, how am I creating this? How am I co-creating this?
Yeah, because what ends up happening, and it can be very habitual and learned, is that we become very reactionary to life. So something happens and we immediately go and we react. So instead of having that bit of a pause and being able to remain out of judgment, and in what I always call it is remain in the question. So
yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, when you can be curious about something and somebody can have said or done something, instead of immediately reacting or thinking you have to have a smart comeback or a response, really listening, creating space for some awareness without judgment. And now you have choice. In that space, in that tiny little space where you didn't react, you've left room for choice. And by choice, you have your power. And by having that, you can be a co-creator.
Wow. So are there any other mindset shifts that go with that first, the first key?
Yeah, another one would be, so besides not blaming others, it's avoiding excuses.
Yes.
Because we can justify an awful lot, right? And when we stay out of making excuses and claim why we've reacted, even if it's badly. So one thing that my children have taught me, for example, is say we've been in an argument and I've reacted instead of really listened. I'll say, oh, you know, you're right. That really wasn't a fair response. Just let me just gather my thoughts and think about that. And really, then what I do is I regroup. I bring myself and my attention, my mindful awareness, back to what the other person was saying and what it means to them. And again, there's that space that creates the choice and the awareness. So instead of reacting out of habit or a past experience that prejudged something, now there's room to even see it in a different light.
Yeah, I love that.
Which if you're so narrow and making excuses or creating judgment, there's no room for that.
So if we're judging or making an excuse for why we reacted a certain way or why we feel the way we do, then it takes us out of being able to be an observer or to have space to even reflect. It's kind of like how, you know, in business, we always say, you know, work on your business instead of always in your business. So if we never take time to kind of like be able to step back and observe what's going on, we don't give ourselves the option to grow, right? Like just like in our business, if we're always in the business and we never step back, we can't really see, you know, how we can grow it. So Coach Kylie said, she's relating. She said, I'm guilty of this too. I wasn't able to do XYZ because ABC happened to me. Instead of focusing on what I could do to overcome it and moving forward. Totally. I mean, we've all done it.
Yes. And there's an absolutely perfect example of remaining in the question and what bringing a question to a problem can do. So instead of assuming it's not going to work because it's similar to this, when you step back, take a breath and go, what could I do differently to make this work? Mm-hmm. So there's no judgment in it. You're not judging about before. What could I do? What could I bring in? What energy could I be? There's lots of ways to say it. To solve this problem.
Right. And that's the difference between masculine and feminine, because in the feminine, we can go, okay, how else can I address this? Whereas as masculine, we might just keep, pushing on something, which isn't necessarily bad, because there might be a time to push, but if we're wanting to be in our feminine, then you're saying that we want to be able to step back and ask those questions.
Yeah, what it does is it leaves room for that that intuitive side. So that's a feminine quality, is our intuition, and the quality of being working. And why I say co-creating, so I don't know if anybody noticed that, but I said co-creating is going back to the living in spirit, is we are co-creating. If we leave room, we can co-create with spirit. So whatever you call that, whether it's your higher self, whether it's the universe, God, creator, whatever you call it, it's that co-creating with a power that's higher than yourself also. And it's inviting that in, and it's receiving. So that feminine part of it is that receiving of that intuition, leaving that space for those ideas. And then there's a time later that the masculine can come in and push that forward to an action.
Right. Oh, I love that.
So they work in concert.
Yeah, I like how you explain that. What do we do if we're stuck in that moment where you go, oh gosh, I'm blaming, I'm like being the victim, and you recognize it and you want to get back into your power and back into the place where you can manifest, like, get your divine connection going again. I mean, we're always connected, but like we block it, right? We kind of put our blinders on. And so how is there like, I know you've shared some breathing techniques before, but like, what could someone just take action and do? Like, oh, okay, Reverend Laura told me to do this, like in this situation, what would you tell your clients to do?
Well, there's two things that are always a quick go-to, and that's ask another question. Mm-hmm. So, if you recognize that you're going on a past behavior, how can I open and get out of this this stuck in the past feeling, right? So that opens it up. But sometimes what can happen is anxious feelings get in there, and then you start to not think clearly, right? So then you're getting in your own way. So one great technique, and you can do this even in a boardroom full of people, believe me, I've done it. And I call it the 4-7-8 power breath for power and clarity. And that's super easy. You can do it so nobody's watching or notices that you're doing it. And it's breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 7 counts, and then releasing for 8 counts. And what that does physiologically, so there's a very real physiological response that it does, is it stops that fight or flight symptom, so that when you start to get anxious and then, your heart's racing and all you're, worried about is what am I going to do and how am I going to get there? And oh my gosh, I've got this big problem. It says to the body, okay, you know what? We're not in a flight or fight crises. We can calm it down, which leaves a little bit of space for your thinking. And then again, you can go back in the question.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yes. I love that breathing technique, and I love asking a different question. If you keep banging your head against the same wall, you're going to get the same result. So stepping outside of that. What is key number 2?
Oh, key number 2 is to recognize that you are and you attract what you think. So that creates a vibration. Your thoughts create a vibration. This is part of that secret language of the universe, that when you have a thought, you have an emotion, and then you have a feeling which comes out, which becomes your vibration, which then is what is resonating out to the universe. And what you're resonating at is what you attract. So in this second key about recognizing your thoughts is what I call becoming aware of all that background chatter. So everybody's got all this background chatter at the back of their head, that little voice that's, you know, either nattering at them or telling them to do this, or negative self-talk. And when we become aware of it and look at it, now it's not unconscious or in the subconscious anymore. We're bringing to the surface what was unknown to the light. And when it's brought to the surface, again, now we have choice. So we can begin to change things. So we can't change what we don't know. So we need to start being an observer of ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So if we are, I guess my first thought was when you started saying key number 2 is like, when we're in our sacred feminine, what is that, like our natural state? Is that like, how do we determine, I don't want to say should be, but like what does it look like and feel like when you're in your sacred feminine? Because I wonder if some people are thinking, okay, I get what she's saying, but how do I know if I'm there and I'm manifesting from that space, you know? Because it's a different feeling than when you're in your head and you're in the masculine and you're just like, go, go, go. So are there any signs, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, are there any ways of kind of recognizing when you're in, like, maybe you're too far in the masculine or you're too far off in the feminine, which can be like, you know, maybe you're not getting anything done?
Well, yes. And I think there's 2 questions in what you're asking. So one is that connection. How do you know that you're connected?
Yeah.
You're going to know when you're connected because there's going to be a lot more clarity and peace. And you're not going to be just reacting and burnt out and feeling like there's just a checklist in life.
Yeah.
You're going to feel grounded. You're going to feel connected. You're going to be aware of if there's any mind chatter, and you're going to be not only aware of it, but when you're aware of it, then you can make that choice to change it. But also you'll know when you're in that space, when things that used to bother you or trigger you, we all have those trigger points, and our spouses and children can be the best ones to set off some of our triggers. But you'll notice and you'll be aware that one day you go, oh, that's not bothering me anymore. So you'll know that you've got some resolution and that you're connected and that you're not reacting, because things that used to just set you right off aren't anymore. So that's one part. And then you had asked about the masculine and feminine. And it takes a bit of training and coaching to get people to realize what nurtures their feminine, what nurtures their masculine, and how to create balance overall. So it's not that in every moment you're trying to be both.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, but it's the overall balance. But in general speaking, that the feminine is our receiving side of ourselves. And one thing that I found with the clients that I serve is that they're women that are, make no bones about this, they are very productive women, they're very successful women, but they're overgiving and overworked and overtired because they're doing and giving and taking care of everybody else, that they've forgotten to take care of themselves. They've lost connection with who they are and will often say, you know, I've got it all. I've got a good job. I'm productive. I feel empty though. I feel empty. My relationships kind of feel flat. I should be getting more joy, and I'm just not. And you know that you're completely disconnected to your feminine if you're feeling that.
Yeah, those are really good clues. I love that. I think that's super helpful. Okay, so tell us key number 3.
Well, did you want to know some of the key points in how to recognize that background noise? Or should I just jump into it?
I would love to. Yes. I know you have a lot to share, so yes.
So just really quickly, it's really starting to become aware and being an observer of your own thoughts, of the negative self-chatter that might be going on, and being very gentle with yourself. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is to be gentle, not to then berate yourself. Oh my God, look at this. I'm so terrible. I keep doing it. Yeah. So it's not about that. It's about, oh, okay, yeah, I've been really hard on myself, and bringing in some nurturing, some gentleness to yourself, and then starting to replace that. And so in my program, I work through specific exercises to bring that back in. Mm-hmm. But the first step is really the awareness. And one thing that I like to always say at this point too is when you start to have these tools, avoid trying to change everything at once.
Good tip.
So I call it the one thing principle. Pick one, or two things. But if you pick a whole bunch, what do you end up doing? Overwork, overtired, overgiving.
Yeah.
Although you're trying to do it for yourself, but you're just now, it's overwhelming.
And it's another to-do list.
Yes. So you get success and mastery in, one area, and then you go, right, I got this. Okay, life, look out, here I come.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
The one thing principle. I like it. Well, I was going to say something when you were talking earlier, because I've been working on this, getting more, into my feminine. I've been attending some classes here in the Seattle area. And what I have found is when I'm really tuned into my feminine, I'm relaxed.
Yeah,
I feel so much better. Nothing around me is different. The to-do list is still there. Whatever was chaotic is still chaotic. It's still all going on, but I'm different. And so I like this one thing principle, because in those moments, I don't feel that I have to fix everything all at once, or that change, the people around me or change the circumstances around me, because I'm different. And then I can kind of systematically address the things that I would like to change. So I think that's such a good point. It's just pick one thing. And that's been my revelation, is when you're more in your feminine, you don't feel like you have to fix everything or change everybody. You're kind of oh, okay. You're more relaxed, and
yes, you can, and that part of getting into your power is then part of that process is really recognizing what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds so simple, but it's true. So, I can be present with you in this, but it's not my responsibility to fix it. And so many women think that they have to fix everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not our job.
Yeah. Can you see Kylie's comment? She made a really nice comment there.
Forcing, yeah.
And that's, when we talk about manifesting new clients and, the whole online building your business thing is that forcing energy does get very draining. So even when we're doing our social media or we're sending an email or, we're doing these marketing activities, what would your tip be? Because I know we've got a lot of entrepreneurs listening. What would be your tip of getting into your feminine while doing masculine stuff? Like, check, like you have a to-do list and you want to check it off, but you don't want to burn yourself out while you're doing it. Is it possible to kind of do that, make both things happen at the same time? There I go, make things happen.
Well, one way is to stay grounded in your heart. So even while you're doing, to bring yourself into that heart-centered action. Mm-hmm. So that when you're bringing things forward in the world, it's that energy that you're doing it for. So if you're doing it from an energy of love and of service and providing, mm-hmm. right? Rather than I'm doing this so I can get.
Yeah, like if I'm just going to go post, and my energy is like, I'm just going to post all this stuff and hope I get a client. But if you are intentional, why you're doing it, you have the energy of serving others, that actually is better marketing. It's better to do that than just do a big mass, promotion of something.
Well, it is. And to also, when you bring yourself consciously into your heart and have done the awareness pieces and know who you are, then you're bringing yourself forward. So it's authentic. It's not somebody else,
right,
else's words or whatever. But part of the energy piece of it is back to that one key that, you are and attract what your thoughts and your feelings are. So, for example, what I'll often tell clients who are, maybe they're stuck in some fear and having trouble in their relationships. Well, if they're in fear, worry, and guilt, which are very low vibrating emotions, it's almost impossible to attract love because love is vibrating at such a different level. So to bring love in, you have to be love, and authentic love, not needy, grasping love, just love.
Okay, so what you just said is, I love this. Can you repeat what you just said in the example of us doing our marketing? Because I think it's brilliant.
Okay. So that then when you're doing your marketing, when you're bringing your authentic self, getting centered in your heart and in your purpose and why you're doing it, and that energy is coming out of a loving service, and your message and your attraction factor is going to come through in that energy. So it's going to be a welcoming energy, an inviting energy, as opposed to a desperate, grabbing, needy energy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we can do a whole call on this topic right here. This is good. This is good. I want to have another blab about this. So tell us your third key, or did we get everything from key number 2?
Well, we could go on and on about all the keys. So we'll go to key number 3.
I got to make sure we get, because I know people are like, what's number 3? Oh, we have a comment from Sherry.
Yes.
She said, I've learned that when I'm forcing or trying to make it happen, it's not time or right for me. When I let go, set intentions, follow intuition, allow things to flow, it's easy and serves not only me, but many. That's beautiful. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Sherry. Yes, and you know what that's getting at, Sherry and Jessica, is it's that divine timing, but it's also getting into that discernment, which is another part of the feminine sacred power, is that discernment, so that we have the information, and we also have the intuitive sense and can discern what is actually right for us. And because what's right for us or somebody else can be very different. And what works for somebody else, this is why you need to know discernment, even if you're working with a coach or anybody else, is you have to be able to discern if it's a good fit for you. It has to fit.
Well, going back to the example of marketing, I was thinking about this earlier today. One person can do a certain type of marketing and it works, and another person, it doesn't work for them. And it is, I mean, there's so many factors in that, but as it relates to this conversation, your energy and your intention and your mindset, like all of those things really do affect what's going to come back to you.
Yeah. Yep. So the third key is that you really have to be willing to look deeply into yourself. So that willingness to look, and that can be hard sometimes, right? Because we have to look at our good bits and our bad bits. And I just call them that for the sake of this conversation. So we have to be willing to look deeply into ourselves and to take action, because none of this is going to happen unless you take action. If somebody wants to change their patterns, there has to be an action. Mm-hmm. And then the third piece of that is not only the look, the taking action, but commit to the process, because it might feel a little bit awkward at first until you get your new groove, right? Because maybe this has been a pattern and a way of behaving for so long that to create a new pattern and a new way of thinking and being and coming out is going to take some time to adjust. And we have to be gentle with ourselves and commit to the process and know that the temporary pain of change is so much better than the pain of remaining the same, stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? And it shows those pathways, those neural pathways that we're set in our habits and patterns and what it really takes to move away from that. Yeah, it's a great movie, which is why coaching and all the different modalities that so many coaches have mastered are so important. Awesome. So I'm just reading the comments. All right. So I would love, as we're wrapping up here, if we have any questions, let me know if you guys have questions. Laura, I want to share with everyone. First of all, everyone follow Laura. Just click on her name there. Follow Laura, because you'll be back, won't you, someday, right, on Blab?
Yes, and I'll follow back.
What?
And I'll follow back.
Yeah, and I think you're a natural, so I'm sure if you were on Blab more often, you'd have lots of people tuning in. So follow Laura. That way, next time she does a Blab, you will be notified. And follow me as well. I'm pretty positive I'll be bringing you back on because I think we need to talk more about this topic. Thank you so much, Kylie, for being on. I love the community that we have. So I want to share with you these two communities, actually. So if you're a female entrepreneur, I would love to invite you to the Permission to Charge community, which is a group that I run. And then we also have Laura's group. Tell them about your group while I grab that link, Laura.
Okay. My private Facebook group is called Sisters Living in Spirit. So this is a group that's just for women. where we can have a really intimate community where I'll share lots of my everyday tips on how to live, not only connected to spirit, connected to your feminine, how to look at our shadow parts of ourselves, and just how to bring that balance, well, first clarity, balance, and ease into what I term is often a very noisy world. And it's just a very real and down-to-earth place, because in my methods and what I do, I don't say that you're never going to feel fear, that you're never going to feel grief, fear, anger. That's not what it's about. That's not what peace is about. What it's about is when you're experiencing grief or anger or fear, how are you in it? How conscious are you while you're experiencing that and present with that? So it's just a really great community to put these concepts into everyday life.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and your community is growing strong. I mean, it hasn't. When did you start it? Because you've already got a lot of members.
I think I've only started it a couple months ago, and
it's awesome. And she does post great stuff in there. I also posted a link to your free call, the Joy Call. Do you want to tell them what they're going to get from the Joy Call? What that is?
Oh yeah. Let me just get my little thing, because I've done so many things, so I want to talk about the right one.
All your stuff is brilliant. So
it's really what I call it. It's secrets from a spiritual advisor, and it's how to raise your personal vibration and manifest joy in your life. So it is going more into actually some of the things I've talked about today, about being a powerful co-creator of your life, but also, what the language of the universe is, and how to speak it, and what does it mean to raise your personal vibration, and how can you do it in an instant. I talk about those kinds of things, and how I talk about what can actually distort manifestations, because there are things that we do that are productive for manifesting, but then there's also things that we do that actually can delay and distort our manifestations. So I talk about all of that in the audio. It's actually a short audio. It's only 38 minutes, so you can listen to it on your iPhone or whatever while you're doing the dishes or making dinner, and get all these hot tips.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I hope you guys will all check out her free audio download. Join her group. You're welcome to join my group as well. And we will, this replay will be ready shortly. I'll get it up on YouTube as well, and we'll be sharing it. Please do share this with any of your friends. One thing that I've noticed with myself and my friends and colleagues is the work around sacred feminine. It's really becoming a popular topic, and I think I'm so grateful, because the more that I've been learning, the better quality my life is. And like I said, I've been attending some groups and things, and certainly learning from you as well. And it's just, we so need this, Laura. So I'm glad you're doing this work. I think it's life-changing, and gosh, if we can operate differently and just operate from that sacred feminine, if it's not just for us, but someone else, I think it was Sherry mentioned, it impacts many people, our children, men, like everyone around us.
It does, because how we are, particularly with our children, they learn by the modeling, right? Mm-hmm. So how did we get a lot of our limiting beliefs and fears that we have? We actually didn't consciously make a choice to take them on. We maybe learned it because that's how our mom or our dad or our aunt was. And when you're so grounded and connected to yourself, those things don't matter anymore, because you're in a new stream of consciousness, that there's just a different piece of yourself in the universe that's available to you. And in my methods too, it's I've combined all my skills and experience to really get what I call the 4 pillars of the human. And so I work on the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, and the mental realms of an individual, so that each of those pillars of ourself are incorporated into these tools, so that you're not feeling fragmented and that one piece is left out. So that's the beauty of it too, is it merges this whole human experience in a way that is so much more clear and peaceful.
Absolutely. I'm going to actually post a link to your program page. And this is your signature program that
yes.
was created.
You know, I noticed in the question, somebody was asking about any books that I would recommend. Did you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, let's have you tell us those books, and then we'll wrap up.
Well, one great book to start with some of these principles of understanding where your thoughts are, where you're vibrating, and how to bring other things into your life. One great book, I think I've got it right here. It's Ask and It Is Given, and that's by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So that is a good book on that. I could look at I don't know a lot of the other ones, because what I've learned it's information that I've either received intuitively from spirit and through my methods, but I know that is a really great book to start to get connected. Oh, Wayne Dyer is just full. Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. I'm a huge fan of the late Wayne Dyer. So a lot of his work is great. One of his best movies that I really enjoyed too is The Shift.
Yeah, I haven't got to see that yet.
Yeah,
I watch it.
It's an incredible life-changing movie that he did. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Laura, thank you so much for being here. This is just what we all needed today. I really feel that. So I would love to have you on in the future. We've got more to talk about. I think this is such an important topic. Thank you, everyone that's been on here live. Thanks for following both of us. We'll be back. I am doing blabs about 3 times a week. I'm doing interviews. I'm going to start doing a Q&A for coaches and healers and service providers that are wanting to grow their business. So I'll be back on later this week or early next week. I'll have to look at I know I have a few blabs scheduled already. So thanks, Kylie, again for being here. Boomy. I'm trying to make sure I get everyone's names here. Chantel and Sherry. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Put the links to your blabs in so we can subscribe. Yeah, I can't grab them right now while I'm in here, but if you go to my profile, you can see my next upcoming blab. I'm actually interviewing another one of my clients who is an amazing shadow work expert from Spain, Monica Pelayo. So you can subscribe by just going to my profile. So, all right, bye everyone. Thank you so much, Laura. And I can't wait to share this replay, because we had 46 people already, and I know we're going to have a lot more people interested. So goodbye. Have a great evening.
Thank you.